Last Sunday, 19th of October 2025, a group of thieves, disguised as construction workers, managed to steal 8 pieces of the French crown jewels from the Galerie d'Apollon of the Louvre in Paris, France. In less than 10 minutes, and what's incredible, during the regular opening hours, inestimable precious jewels, including the reliquary brooch and the tiara of Empress Eugénie, wife of the French Emperor Napoleon III, have disappeared, probably lost forever. This tragic event shocked not only the French public, but also the entire world, as the Musée du Louvre is not only the largest museum in the world, but also the most visited museum of any category. As a numismatist, this disastrous robbery reminds me of another, probably even more tragic burglary, the 1831 robbery of the Bibliothèque Royale. This incredible and catastrophic event also happened in Paris, less than 500 meters away from the Louvre and the Galerie d'Apollon, in a cold November night almost 200 years ago. During that tragic night, no less than the entire numismatic collection, built over the centuries by the kings of France, disappeared, including one of the most exceptional ancient coins ever found, the 36 solidi of the Roman Emperor Justinian I, struck in 534 AD and made of more than 160 grams of pure gold. It included also almost 3,000 Roman gold coins and medallions, and was probably the most prestigious numismatic collection of the world at that time. And as the sun was rising and the inhabitants of Paris were waking up, the extent of the tragedy, as was the case last weekend, just came to be seen as a very brutal shockwave. My name is Jonas, and I have been a Swiss professional numismatist, auctioneer, and coin dealer for more than 15 years. And in this video, I would like to recount to you the incredible story of the 1831 theft of the Bibliothèque Royale de Paris, the biggest numismatic robbery of all times. The discovery of the theft. On the 6th of October 1831, a light cold breeze was blowing down Rue de Richelieu, as two laborers made their way to work in the early morning. One of them bumped in the darkness into something soft yet solid, lying on the pavement near the Colbert archway. He noticed a thick rope hanging from a window, an unusual sight in this location, as the building housed the Royal Library. Soon after, a police patrol also encountered the rope and immediately raised the alarm, revealing that a burglary had just taken place. Alarmed by the police commissioner, the chief curator arrived at the scene wearing a dressing gown and a nightcap. In the room where the rope used in the break-in remained in position. Upon discovering that the display cases had been opened and emptied, he fainted in front of the police officer. The thieves stole the historical collection of ancient coins kept in the Cabinet des Médailles. These rooms, usually closed to the public and accessible only to distinguished visitors, had housed gold coins, seals, bulls, and other precious objects, tracing the history of France for several centuries. These coins and medals were not only an accumulation of precious metal, but almost and foremost a numismatic and historical treasure, with numerous pieces being unique and of the highest rarity. The legendary detective François Vidocq joins the case. Faced with this national crisis, King Louis-Philippe and his main minister, Casimir Perrier, decided to bring back François Vidocq, a former criminal turned legendary detective. Though no longer working for the French Couronne, Vidocq's impressive skills and talent for undercover work made him the top choice. His mission: recover the stolen treasures and catch the criminals, all while keeping the matter quiet to avoid any scandal. Upon arriving at the Royal Library, Vidocq asked to meet with the chief curator, who shows him the crime scene. Inspecting the doors, windows, and famous display cases, now emptied of their contents, Vidocq noticed one thing: none of the locks had been forced. The former convict, who had a complete knowledge of all active French thieves and their specialties in his head, immediately formed a conviction. A theft of this magnitude, with no sign of forced entry, indicates the work of a highly skilled professional operating with an accomplice in the inside. For François Vidocq, it can only be one person: Etienne Fossard, a 34-year-old man known in Paris as the Prince of Thieves. Interesting fact: Fossard's criminal files just bear a recent mention, revealing that he had recently escaped from prison, exposing a conspiracy. Vidocq carefully checked the visitor logbook of the Cabinet des Médailles, which only highly selected people could visit upon request and on appointment. Among all the prestigious names, one stood out: Vicomtesse Delphine de Naïs-Candeau, a noble woman close to the royal family and especially to the Queen Marie Amélie. She was known as a philanthropist and advocate for prisoners, but behind the scenes, she profited by securing pardons for payment, and Vidocq suspected she played a key role in the theft. With undercover agents, Vidocq soon discovered her link to Jean-Baptiste Fossard, Etienne's brother and a watchmaker on Rue de l'Arbre Sec. The Vicomtesse's valet, Drouillet, who had a criminal past, secretly made impressions of the library keys during her visits, allowing access for the theft and giving the conspirators time to convert stolen items into untraceable gold ingots. Vidocq had all the evidence he needed, but he lacked proper proof. He informed the Minister of Police of his findings, but the minister ordered him to hush up this affair, involving a close friend of the Queen. Recovery and justice. Vidocq's further inquiry led to a sting at the watchmaker's shop, where Jean-Baptiste Fossard admitted the Vicomtesse orchestrated everything, with Etienne carrying out the haste and Drouillet aiding them. According to him, it was the Vicomtesse de Naïs-Candeau who suggested to the Prince of Thieves that he rob the medal cabinet. She pointed out that the amount of gold contained therein was comparable to that held by the Bank of France, noting in particular how easily this gold could be melted down into negotiable ingots. The suspect also admitted that the Vicomtesse brought in her valet, Drouillet, to take the necessary impressions of the cabinet's keys, and even showed Vidocq a map of the premises drawn up by the Vicomtesse herself, and then recounted how his brother forced him to melt down the most valuable pieces of the treasure. This is how most artifacts, notably the coins and the medallions from the Roman period, were tragically melted down and hidden in the form of gold bars, while some of the less valuable pieces, in particular silver ones, were thrown in the Seine River and others buried within the cellar of the shop. In an additional well-planned move, Vidocq's staff managed to capture Etienne Fossa as he was trying to leave Paris and escape to Brest, recovering numerous further recently cast gold ingots. Thus the Prince of Thieves was sent back to prison. Drouillet, despite being a true accomplice of the Viscountess, the nice condo, was simply released thanks to an order preventing him from being prosecuted. The Viscountess, thanks to her connections, even continued her maneuvering, and the affair of the medal cabinet was about to be hushed up. Determined to overturn this arrangement, Vidocq took action. Just as the Viscountess decided to go into exile in England, he had her arrested. During a search of her belongings, ingots, rare medals, and love letters to Etienne Fossa were discovered. Caught off guard, the Viscountess ended up denouncing her other accomplice, Drouillet, her sister, her mother, another jeweler, and a certain Le Soif, in whose home a large quantity of gold was discovered. All these individuals were then imprisoned. While at first the Viscountess, instigator of the affair, was not even called to appear at the trial in February 1833, she finally had to attend, but not as a suspect, but rather as a simple witness. And although evidence of her culpability was mounting, an official statement of her innocence was quickly released by the court with the following words: "The justifications of the Viscountess of Nice have been complete." Whether 200 years ago or nowadays, cupidity can lead to the destruction of inestimable witnesses of the past, and coins and medals, with their high intrinsic value, are always at great risk. Even at museums, where they should be kept with the greatest care, there will always be a risk, what makes it even more important that rare coins and medals, especially when they are unique and of great historical significance, are well studied and published. Printed articles and books are in fact the only surviving traces of the numismatic treasures once kept in the Bibliothèque Royale de Paris, that disappeared on that tragic night in November 1831, destroyed in the burning furnaces of copied thugs. So, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it is the case, please leave a comment or a like, and do not hesitate to share this video. I thank you and send you my very best regards from Switzerland. Goodbye.